Think you're underpaid today? Wait until you see what minimum wage workers used to earn and what that money is worth now. The federal minimum wage was introduced in 1938 at just 25 cents per hour. Since then, it has increased several times, but not always in a way that keeps up with inflation. If your paycheck doesn't stretch as far as it used to, you're not imagining it. Looking at the minimum wage by generation shows how the value of work has changed and why so many Americans still struggle to get ahead. Today, the federal minimum wage is $7.25 per hour. It is set by Congress under the Fair Labor Standards Act, and changes only happen when Congress approves a new amendment. Most states have their own minimum wages. For example, Florida's minimum wage is $13 per hour, which overrides the federal rate for workers in the state. The federal minimum wage does not increase on a set schedule. The last time it was raised was July 2009. Since then, inflation has continued to rise, making that $7.25 worth even less over time. The greatest generation was born between 1901 to 1924. The U.S. minimum wage was $0. This generation entered the workforce before minimum wage laws existed. Many workers faced long hours and poor conditions with little protection. Labor unions were forming, but meaningful wage standards were still years away. The silent generation was born between 1925 to 1945. The U.S. minimum wage was 25 cents to 40 cents per hour. Adjusted for 2025, that's $5.74 to $7.20. The Great Depression shaped their early work years. Jobs were scarce and low-paying. The Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938 introduced the first federal minimum wage during a time of national hardship. Baby boomers were born between 1946 to 1964. The U.S. minimum wage ranged from 40 cents to $1.15 per hour for them. Adjusted for 2025 values, that's $6.65 to $12.02. Boomers entered a growing economy with strong consumer demand. Wages generally kept up with costs, and new worker protections in the 1960s helped support higher earnings. Gen X was born between 1965 to 1980. The U.S. minimum wage ranged from $1.25 to $3.10. Adjusted for 2025 values, that would be $12.86 to $12.19. Inflation surged in the 1970s, sometimes over 10% per year. Even though minimum wage increases continued, the cost of living rose faster, beginning a long trend of stagnant wages. The federal minimum wage has gone up on paper, but it has not always kept pace with what life actually costs. Today's minimum wage workers often have less buying power than some of their parents or grandparents did. Improving your financial situation may require more than budgeting. Earning more through a higher-paying job, a side hustle, or additional training can be one of the most effective steps you can take.